Morning guys, welcome to day one of the apocalypse. I had a choice this morning. I could either sit in my pants flicking myself off the Trisha, or I thought get dressed, get up, get shaved, shave my balls, we can cut that, yeah, and do some apocalyptic Pilates. So if you want to join me on the mat, and I'll see you in 5. Okay guys, so of course with any form of exercise, please listen to your body. Only give what you feel you can give. If you need a break, if you need a breather, take it. If it pulls, if it hurts, electrical impulses, that's your body's way of saying stop. So please listen to your body. What do we need? Yourself, a mat, keep yourself hydrated.
Obviously I'm in water.
And a puppy. Bollocks. Bog roll.
Wine by any chance?
Pasta, milk, puppy. Okay guys, we'll start unusually in 4-point knees. Spread the fingers, eyes of your elbows towards each other, and think stacking. So shoulders over elbows, over wrists. I haven't got a puppy, but I've got a cat. Knees sit with the part directly under your pelvis, and just take a few breaths for me. Just going to hang here and breathe. So breathing in through the nose. Really fill your lungs, feel that thoracic breath, mid-breath, and as you breathe out to the mouth, just relax and release. And as you breathe out, just become aware of your core, that connection. As you breathe out, a few more breaths. Just hit pause on whatever drama's playing out in your head, the fact that the world's turned into rat shit. On your next in-breath, and let's just start to drop into the shoulders. Just gently drop into the shoulders, squeeze the scaps together, and then push the floor away and feel the scaps, the shoulder blades part, and a few more. Again, if you want to add breath, feel free. Just don't hold your breath. Particularly as things get more challenging. If you hold your breath, Valsalva effect, blood pressure will go through the roof. So the way I tend to operate is I take my body through 2 extremes, and then I find that position between those 2 extremes, which is going to become my neutral for today. So find that position somewhere between these 2 extremes, and we go straight into your cat-cow. So you can hollow lower back, push the floor away, open up to the chest and lock up. Lower back's going into compression. And then chin to chest, ripple through the spine, curl your tailbone through and under, expel all air, and feel that core. Great for spinal mobility, and reverse it. A few more. Just waking everything up. Let's do one more. Again, take that spine through 2 extremes of flexion and extension, and then find that positioning somewhere between the 2. So your back's pretty flat, so neutral spine, the natural curves of the spine. So your scaps are flat to the back of your ribs, you're stacked, you're stable. We're going to just move our right arm. That's my instructor right arm, bad habits and all that. So lengthen that arm. If you want to add breath, take a breath to prepare. And as you breathe, just lift in line with your shoulder, stretch and lengthen, and release. Just kiss the floor. Nothing else moves, just your arm in its shoulder socket. Well, aim for 8 if that's too many. Do fewer. It's not enough, do more. It's your workout. So I try and keep a little bit of give in my supporting elbow. I don't lock the joints, so I use the muscles that way. If your knees start to hurt, you can always put something under your patellas or double the mat under your patellas. I'm on carpet, so it's okay for me. Last one. And it's all about me. And release. If your wrists start to hurt, just mobilise through the wrists. And they probably will begin to hurt. One of the reasons being, we spend so much of our life holding things. Our arms are flexed all the while, that as soon as you start to go into extension, you stretch those muscles, you'll feel it in your wrists. It's quite common. And the other side. So check your stability, check you're centered, take a breath, and exert. Nice and long, but aim for 8. You've got your pace. Stretch and lengthen. So head and neck remaining neutral. Head and neck are always just a continuation of your spine. And so what I want you to do is focus on your core. So as we move arms and legs in Pilates, I mean, yes, we're mobilising through the joints and we're using other muscles, but actually we're challenging the core, essentially. Gizmo. Do one more. And release. Reverse direction. A bit more difficult. Start to engage the mind. So this time we'll do the legs. We'll just start 90 degrees in the legs, and then the legs will get longer. The longer the levers, the harder it's going to get. But we're going to start quite easy. And then you can always default to one of these kinder levels. It's absolutely fine. So as soon as you start to lose control, you're going to default to a kinder level. So right leg, my instructor right leg, take a breath. Nothing else moves, just that right leg. Keep it 90 degrees. And flex the ankle if you want to, it doesn't really matter. Check those elbow positions and bring it back to home. And again. The challenge is, as you do this, to try and resist going over to one side. You can feel it in your core, even something as simple as this. One more. And the other side. If you need to pause in between, it's absolutely fine. Or you could paddle your hands, whatever works. And when you're ready, other side. And you might find you've got more range of movement or motion one side than the other. It's absolutely fine. It's not a judgment. Just work with it. All tend to be one side dominant. So slow it down, really feel it. Listening to your body. That's part of the mind body. Is listen to where you're feeling it, what your body's saying to you, rather than just mechanically going through the motion. Last one. And release. Sit back and mobilise through the wrists. So whilst we're here, we might as well stretch and lengthen through the body. Hand shoulder width apart, and just hang on the shoulders a little bit for me. You can kiss the forehead with the mat if you want to. But just don't load your cervical spine, it's too delicate. And whilst we're here, we'll thread the needle. So you're going to take our right arm through and under the left, and just reach and bring your shoulder to the floor. Kiss the floor with your forehead. If you want it a little bit stronger, you can push the floor away. And bring it back. Stretch and lengthen. If you want to add breath, feel free, take a breath. And move, exert. And if you're going to push into the floor, feel free. And release. We'll do that once more. And release. Walk it back, and from here we're going to come onto our bum. So let's change positions and come down to the mat into a supine position. So if it helps, you can put your hands back at your thighs, shoulders back and down away from the ears, chin parallel to the floor. Take a breath. And as you breathe out, just think chin towards chest. So you're not like this, just think chin towards chest. So we soften the spine for a roll back. Just going to gently roll back, vertebra at a time. Support yourself the backs of your thighs, all the way to the floor. I'm going to arch forward before I disappear. And again, relax those shoulders. So scrunch them up, depress them, push them away. Scaps are flat to the floor, flat to the back of your ribs. Feet in line with knees, in line with hips. Neutral spine, so you want the spine to be natural S-shape. So if you can get all your hands under there, you've probably got an anterior tilt of your spine. So think about turning your tailbone gently towards the ceiling, so you can pinch your fingers and just see how the energy shifts from your lower back into your belly. So I want to try and keep it in your belly, not your back. As soon as it goes into your back, you've lost control. So always be mindful of that. So as soon as you lose it, you perhaps want to default to a kinder level or take a break altogether. So if you want to put your hands under there and just feel that connection, play with your pelvic position, feel free. Otherwise, you can put your hands on your hips, lock those hips, want to make sure they don't move, and just come up onto your tiptoes. It's going to start really easy with some marching. So take a breath. This helps to focus, I find. And as you breathe, right legs, bring it in. And as you breathe, just gently tap the floor, make sure your hips don't move, they don't rock, they don't roll, and your spine doesn't move. So all that's moving is the femur in the socket. And again, you're going to feel this in your core. If you practiced and you know what you're doing, even though it looks really easy, and it is quite easy, you are going to feel it. It's pointless going on to the harder options until you've nailed these kinder options. So each movement could be a breath. It just helps give focus, I find. So if you think you've got control over your hips and they're not rocking and rolling, let's try the other side. So onto your toes and breathe. So if you want it a little bit harder, and you know you've got control over your hips, you could take your hands to your temples, make sure you can see your elbows in your peripheral vision. Are you not doing this? And closing the chest, open to the chest. You can take a breath in, and as that leg comes up, chin towards chest, and add a crunch. Breath into hand. Sorry about that, there's my mum on the phone. It's just checking I'm still alive, basically. So, going back to where we were. We were marching, one leg in and adding a crunch. So naturally I want to breathe out as I crunch. Feel it in your belly. Try and bring your forehead towards your knee, but relax the shoulders. Let's do one more. And release. So from here, you could window wipe your legs side to side if you wanted to. That helps. Or you could take knees to chest, full wind position, and just gently rock, gently roll, push your lower back into the floor. It's a nice release for your lower back.
Hit pause and do the other leg, guys.
And then whilst we're here, we're going to roll up like a ball. If that doesn't work for you, if you haven't got a great spine, then don't do it. See, I tend to cross my ankles, chin towards the chest, you flex the spine, and just gently rock, gently roll. Use your muscles rather than momentum, so use your belly, core muscles. Don't load the neck. And then when you're ready, you can come up onto your tailbone and all the way over, back into your 4-point kneeling. So we're going to add on this round. Just check myself. So as per before, check your stability, check your stack, check your stable. You've got that connection with your core. This time, right arm lengthens, as does your opposite leg. I haven't got much room here, bear with me. Take a breath to prepare yourself. And right arm, stretch and lengthen, and breath into home. As you breathe, this time the leg. So you could bend it 90 degrees as per the previous round. It's going to be a little bit harder with the leg longer. And again, alternate. And the other side. So this is a little bit more challenging. But if you want it harder still, some of you will, we'll do both together. So this time, if you want to, let's just do 4, both limbs together. So think nice and long through the body. Someone's pulling on your fingers, someone's pulling on your toes. Resist the wobble and release. And again. Last one. And take it back. And we'll do the other side. Exactly the same again. Just start by alternating. Check that you're in control. Check that you're stable. And make sure you do an opposite arm, opposite leg. It's amazing how often you see people doing the same arm, same side leg. How they do it, I don't know, because I think I would struggle. And if you want to stay here, you can. Otherwise, I'm a little bit stuck for room here. We'll do both together. Let's do 4, you'll find it quite hard. Stretch and lengthen. And exert against gravity. So breath out against gravity. Breath into home. And release. Mobilise through those wrists again. So this time we're going to add some abduction. So right arm, left leg lengthens as per before, exactly the same. Take a breath to prepare yourself, check you're stable. And as you breathe out to the mouth, exert. Take a breath. Head and neck stays in neutral. And as you breathe out, just abduct. It only needs to be 5-10 minutes of a clock face. It's challenging enough. You're going to feel it in your core, trust me. And back to centre. And again, we'll aim for 8 if that's too many. Just do as many as feels good for you. This is quite challenging. And remember guys, slower is harder. The faster you go, the easier it is. Slower, you're going to recruit more muscle fibres. But really stretch and lengthen. And remember, sometimes less is more. And release. Paddle your hands, do whatever you feel you need to do. And we'll do the other side. Stretch and lengthen. Take a breath. And abduct. Shut up. What? Hopefully you're wobbling. I know I am. And release. So we're going to add on. This is the way I work. I keep adding on, adding on, adding on. So again, we're going to flip over onto our bums. Feet hip width apart. If that works for you, we're all biomechanically different. Don't worry about it if you can't. But just try and aim for
symmetry.
what's the fucking point? It's so fucking hard. So think stacking. If that works for you, we're all biomechanically different. But just think balance. So you don't want one foot out to one side. You know, always think balance. You want to be in sync with your body. We're trying to get rid of imbalances and add to them. So always try and think one side's equal to the other as much as possible. So again, we're going to roll back, so chin towards the chest, soften the spine. As per before, but this time we're going up into what we call tabletop position. So feet are 90 degrees, knees are 90 degrees, hips are 90 degrees. This is where you're going to have a temptation to move the pelvic position. It's very easy if you watch my pelvis, how it will go anterior towards the floor and posterior towards the ceiling, and that's when you're going to lose control. You're going to dump into your lower back. So always think what I said earlier, right? Just being able to get maybe up to your knuckles, and control this. As soon as it goes into your lower back, you've lost control. So this is what you're going to be mindful of now. You can always put your hands on your hip bones, just to make sure you're in control. Knees in line with ankles. Take a breath. And as per before, we're going to march. So right leg comes down, just kiss the floor. You're going to feel it in your core. If you dump into your back before you can come to the floor, then don't go all the way to the floor. And then swap sides, so you'll start to alternate now. So slowing it right down, listen to your body. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Don't be scared of the pause as you kiss the floor. That's the sweet spot, you really feel it there. And again. It's a harder option. Hands to temples, chin to chest as you come up. And crunch. So you want to stay here, it's going to be harder to stay in this flexed position as you march the feet. So if you want it harder still, you're going to bring your knee in towards your chest, and you're going to bring the opposite shoulder to that knee. So as one leg comes in, bring the opposite shoulder, not the elbow, back to centre, to tabletop, and the other side. So think shoulder, not elbow. Take a breath here, and breathing out, starting to hit the obliques, breath into home, and the other side. So kinder option, you could come to the floor in between. Or stay flexed, come to centre for a harder option. So if you want it harder still, and you're going to be feeling this, I can guarantee it, you can start to lengthen the legs. It's going to get a little bit harder. So break that down So you're going to bring one knee in and lengthen the other leg. So you can put one hand on the outside, one hand on the inside, and just guide it so it's in line with your hip. And swap. And swap. So each one could be a breath. Trying to get forehead towards your knee. Really stretching and lengthening. Do one more. And release. So if you find your neck flexors start to hurt, and they can, you can just gently support your head, just don't yank on it. You might need to alternate arms, depending on what we're doing. So this time, putting it all together, either knees 90 degrees, or we're going to lengthen the legs, so I'll let you choose. So, flex position, with or without the hands back of your head, lengthen one leg, bring the opposite shoulder over, and switch. This is quite hard. If you wanted it harder still, rather than defaulting to tabletop like we did in the previous round, you could default both legs straight, and as you breathe, other side. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out, and release. Your abs are probably on fire. I know mine are. And as per before, when you're ready, roll like a ball. If it works for you, if not, just come up in a way that works for you. So chin towards the chest, flex the spine, don't load the cervical spine, the neck, use your core muscles, more so the momentum, you're going to feel it, and up and over into your 4-point kneeling. So this time, adding on, we're going to add some rotation this time. So we're going to thread the needle, like we did at the beginning, from this position. So check you're stable, check the elbow positions, eyes of your elbows towards each other. Take a breath. And as you breathe, right arm threads through and under. And as you breathe in, open to the chest. Breath out. So try and keep the weight evenly distributed between the knees. Breath out. Breath out. A couple more. Aim for 8. I often forget how many I've done. Last one. And release. And we'll do the other side. So you know what to do by now. Take a breath. And as you breathe, thread that needle. And breath in. Yeah, I've definitely got more flexibility, I think, the other side. Breath out. So you either slide along the floor for a little bit of support, or for harder option, don't hit the floor and just reach. Breath in. Breath out. This is the last one. Breath in and release. It's a little bit more challenging. Eventually all these are going to come together in a Pilates flow. It's quite hard. So you choose your level. But from here, once again, flipping onto our bum, roll back, with or without our arms back in the thighs. And we're going to use what we've learned and do a 100. So 100 is when you beat your arms for 5 breaths, or for a count of 5, and then you breathe out for a count of 5. And it's the beating of the arms that's sort of challenging your core. So you've got multiple options now. You could be on the floor if you wanted to, chin to chest. You could do a basic crunch. You could lift 90 degrees and you could do it. You could add that crunch. Or you could start to lengthen the legs, but be mindful that it's in your belly. So if you go too low, it's going to go into your back. So you need to modify. So you could come higher to be easier, or just find where you feel it in your belly and we'll beat from there. So I'll let you choose. Or as you fatigue, you could always default to a kinder option. So when you're ready, I'm going to start on tabletop. Deep breath in. And as we breathe, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, breathe. And breathe. And breathe. And breathe. And breathe. And breathe. Halfway. Last one. And knees to chest. Take a deep breath. Breath out. And this time as you breathe in, legs and arms lengthen. Body doesn't change, chin towards chest. And as you breathe out, bring the arms round in a circle. Pull knees in for a double leg stretch. Breath in. And breath out. Breathe. So chin towards chest, relaxed shoulders, triceps to your ears. And modify those lever lengths if you need to. You can always support the back of your head if you need to. Breathing in. One more. And release. Gently rock, gently roll. And when you're ready, we're going to roll like a ball back up into your 4-point kneeling. So this time I'm going to put it all into a little bit of a Pilates flow. So if you remember, we're going to stretch and lengthen, abduct, bring it back. You can drop the rear leg and thread the needle. Harder option as you thread the needle. As you come down, you could raise that leg, but it's quite challenging. So I'll let you decide if that's for you. It's going to be hard enough as it is. So check your stability. Check your positioning, check you're centered. Line, take a breath. Right arm, left leg, and as you breathe, and abduct. Rear leg to the floor, take a breath. And as you breathe, thread the needle. Breath in opens. And breath out resets. Abduct to center, rear knee to floor, or leg or foot, and open. Reset. Abduct. Bring it back to centre. Toes to the floor and thread that needle. Breath in. And reset. Harder option, cantilever that back leg. So acts as a cantilever. Foot still comes to the floor to open to the chest, gives you some stability. And back to home. And release. Got the other side. And I think we might be done for today. So left arm, right leg. Take a breath. As you breathe, stretch and lengthen. You take a breath here if you wish. As you breathe, abduct. Breath, bringing it back. And as you breathe out, rear foot to floor, thread that needle. Breath in opens. Breath out closes and lengthens. And let's go again. I'll do 2 more and try and use that back leg as a cantilever. And release. So we're going back into our 4-point kneeling, into our Superman or Superwoman or super pansexual gender fluidic person. So right arm, left leg, breath in, stretch and lengthen. As you breathe out, bring elbow to knee and flex the spine. Breath in, stretch and lengthen. Breath out. Breath in. So really try and create some length in your body. Imagine someone's pulling on your fingers and toes. If you want to go a little bit deeper, think about bringing wrist to knee. So slide down the side of your knee, side of your leg, and breath in. Do 1 more and release. Paddle your hands, do whatever you feel you need to do by now. Keep looking for zombies at the windows, but not as yet. Reset, opposite side. Left arm, right leg. Take a breath in, stretch and lengthen. Nothing else moves, flex the spine. Breath in. As stable as possible through your supporting limbs. Harder option, go a little deeper to your wrist. last one. And release. Okay team, so how's about we put it all together into a little bit of a Pilates flow for those that want a challenge. So right arm, left leg, Superman. We'll do the cat, then abduct, and then add rotation. So right arm, left leg, check you're stable, take a breath. Then as you breathe out, you just did it, into cat, knee to elbow, breath in lengthens to Superman, breath out, abduct, 5-10 minutes of a clock face, doesn't need to be too far, breath into centre, and as you breathe out, thread the needle, your rear leg can come to the floor or cantilever it. Breath in opens, you can bring your toe to the floor, and release. Breath in, stretch and lengthen. Breath out. Breath in, Superman or woman. Abduct. Breath into centre. And thread the needle. Foot can come to the floor if you want. Breath in, opens. Breath out. Reset. Breath in. Breath out, a little deeper this time. Breath in. Abduct. Breathe. Thread the needle, see if you can cantilever that rear leg. Rear leg comes to the floor, breath in, opens. Breath out, let's go again. Breath in, last one. Breath out. Breath in. Abduct. Breath in. With or without that rear leg raised, thread the needle. You should be feeling it. Breath in. And release. Got the other side to do, and we're pretty much done for today, I think. My wine's running out. And we're going to buy a puppy. Opposite side. Left arm, right leg. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Abduct. Breath in. Rear leg can come to the floor, thread the needle. Breath in opens. Thoracic rotation. Breath out releases, and go again. Breath in, Superman or woman. Breath out, flex. Extend. Abduct. Breathe. Harder option, cantilever the leg as you thread the needle. Breath in opens. Breath out. Let's go again. Breath in. Abduct. Breathe. Re-toe to floor for the kinder option. Oh. And if you lose your balance, at least you know it's working. You are challenging yourself. Last one. Breath in, lengthen. Breath out, abduct. Breathe. And I went completely wrong there, but don't worry about it. Past caring, I've had a few drinks. To do. I'm just going to reorientate so you can see me from the side. I'm just going to move my wine because if I spill it on this carpet it's going to be an absolute mess. So check you're stable, you know what you're doing by now. So it's left arm, right leg, breath in to super person, breath out to cat, flex the spine, back to your super person, add abduction. Breath to centre, and as you breathe out you can bring re-toe to the floor, soften through your right elbow, thread the needle, and as you breathe in, add in that thoracic rotation, breath in, reach for the ceiling, breath out, reset back to home, so stretch and lengthen, breath out to cat, super person, and abduct to home. This time see if you can cantilever that back leg. So thread the needle, rear leg goes up this time for the cantilever, reach, reach, reach. Bring the rear toe to floor, thoracic rotation, and back to home. Let's go again, breath in. Flex. Lengthen. And abduct. Breathe to home. Reach out to the floor if you want to, thread the needle. And thoracic rotation. To home, stretch and lengthen, last one. Cat. Abduct. To home. Cantilever that rear leg if you can. Goes up to aid your balance. Last time, rear toe to floor, thoracic rotation, and to home. So we're pretty much there, guys. What I tend to do with my classes is I always throw in a challenge, because you always get a mix of people, all ages, abilities. Remember, we all have a history, injuries, jobs, sport, all the sorts of things that we do in life are going to have an impact on what we do. Mental health, people are feeling pretty pissed off. I'm pretty much done. I'm running out of battery, and I'm also running out of wine, which is a pisser. I always throw in a challenge for those people that want it, so we'll throw in a challenge. So perfect plank. So we've been doing a lot of arm and leg movements today. So the way I like to go into plank is if I go into a cat and then straighten the legs. And the reason for this, I'm going to come forward slightly, is so we're not dumping into the back. So if we think about curling your tailbone towards the heels of your hands, and then you activate your core, you're using your core, pushing the floor away, scaps flat to the back of your ribs as much as possible. So from here, as you breathe in, right leg rises and release. Other side, breath in, leg pull and release.
This doesn't work for you, reverse the breath, it's fine.
And release. Other side and release. If you need a break, you go to your shell pose, so big toes together, and you bring your forehead to the floor, take your arms around and just relax. And your challenge, you can do that again with the opposite arm, opposite leg, or one arm alternates. So taking it right back to where we started at the very beginning, but from plank. So this is a lot harder. So you could do one arm, opposite leg, breath in, breath out. And the other side.
The challenge is to try and keep your shoulders and hips level and square to the floor if you can.
If you want a real challenge, you can do both. It's hard to get on carpet. And release. You can stack your fists if you want to, and just gently rest your forehead and just breathe fully and deeply. And just take a moment to consider what you've learned, what you've enjoyed, what you hated, if you've got any wine left, if you've got any bog roll left. And just stay here for as long as you feel you need to. I'm running out of battery, so if you want to come down to your mat into supine position and just lie down, claim your mat and just breathe and relax and release and de-stress, feel free. I'll probably do some other videos, meditation, yoga, some mindfulness videos, but for today, thank you.